think it was, which day? I called one of our sisters. So all the announcements were made here on Sunday. She got it, the information, she got it to where she was outside Lagos. So people are watching. I've seen people watching our Bible study from UK on Tuesday. From the UK, they watch our Bible study and other programs. Now, I was saying that this woman, number one, knew death and sorrow. She lost her husband, her hobby, and the very love of her heart. The Bible says, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And I said she knows death is different from death. Death, to owe. To owe. She knew death and shame. How do we know? People her husband were owing her came because according to the law of the time, if you are owing and you cannot pay, you have to go into slavery. You'll be sold to slavery to recover the money. Number 2, if you're a criminal or you're a thief, you'll be sold into slavery to recover whatever you've stolen. Now, in the case of this woman, her husband who accumulated the debt had died. Now, the shame comes because a borrower is a servant to who? To the lender. I don't know if you can just picture. Let us travel in our imagination. Of the creditors coming and saying, Madam, since you cannot pay, 2 of your children and neighbors gather around. Say, Madam, what's happening? Madam, what's happening? And some who were also enemies were by the corner laughing and say, yes, it's all right. They will take her children. Let us see what's going to happen. Now, that was the case of that woman. Now, because of that condition, she knew shame, what shame and disgrace was all about. Now, number 3, in that passage, you find, Bible tells us in that passage, in verse 2, and Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? Number 3, the woman knew deprivation and starvation. She was deprived of the creature comforts of life. As far as life was concerned, only a keg or a pot of oil. What would thou do? So other basic necessities were not there. And so being a widow, because at that time people really don't pay so much attention to widows. Not now you have NGOs of, people, championing the causes of widows. Before now, nobody bothers about them. Even within the family where they are, people really don't give attention to them. Anybody giving them attention at the time wants to take advantage, particularly when they're young widows. Now, in this circumstance, the woman knew what deprivation and starvation was all about. Elisha asked her, what do you have at home? And the Bible says, she said, thy handmaid has not anything in the house except a pot of oil. Number 4, the woman knew destitution. She knew destitution and stagnation. In verse 2, and the Bible says, and Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, thy handmaid has not anything in the house. Has not anything in the house. Apart from that pot of oil. That is destitution and stagnation. Like Elisha asked the woman, what do you want me to do for you? Jehovah is asking you tonight, what do you want him to do for you? No more hand to mouth. Walking like an elephant, eating like an ant, struggling all year. As you look back, there is nothing to show for it. It ends tonight. I say it ends tonight. The Bible tells us from that passage, that woman suffered lack, she suffered want, she suffered poverty, and she suffered stagnation. It was like there was no way forward until she met the man of God. And it was that encounter with the man of God that brought about the required change. When she met the prophet, what happened? Provision came. Somebody, provision is coming. When she met the prophet, peace came, because eventually, by reason of the miracle of turning the oil from one pot to the other, provision came. She got money to pay the creditors, which means she had peace with those creditors. When a man's way pleases the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Number 3, prosperity came, because after that, she lived on the proceeds of that miracle for many more days. That's what the Bible says. Now, your encounter tonight will change your story for the better. I say it will change your story for the better.